Our work is just beginning, said Donald Trump, the president-elect. Fox Team coverage now. Byron York and Steve Hayes here with us in Studio F to go over all of the night's happenings. But first we go to senior national correspondent John Roberts, who has been on the road with Donald Trump's campaign since the very beginning. Good morning to you, John.
Martha, good morning to you and the president-elect living in Trump Tower just behind us across 57th Street, a cordon of security around it. The sidewalk is closed. We don't know how long that is going to be in place because there are some businesses that would like to open up today. So we'll see how that progresses throughout the day. You know, Martha, there were so many people in this country who did not see this coming, and it's because they either didn't know or didn't want to know what was going on across the country. But when you go to all those big Trump rallies and you see all those people standing in line for hours and jamming all of those venues, whether it be a fairgrounds or a horse barn or big arenas, you had to know that something was going on. But in the early going, so many pundits were dismissing that as just, oh, people wanted to come and see the spectacle. Well, all those people who came not only voted, but they got their friends out to vote as well. And that resulted in that early morning win for Donald Trump, and obviously one that pleased a lot of his most ardent supporters. Listen to what some of them said at about 3 o'clock this morning.
My spine is tingling. It's an awesome night. It's a historic night for America. I feel like it's a second revolution.
Thank her for her years of service, but it's time to turn the page and move on to American history.
The silent majority rose up tonight, all through grassroots America, and elected this man president of the United States.
Now, one of the first official orders of business for Donald Trump looks like it is going to be a meeting in Washington tomorrow with President Obama and Martha O to be a fly on the wall in that meeting because, if you'll recall, in recent weeks, the two of them have been saying some pretty nasty things about each other.
Yeah. And the president talked so much about how electing Hillary Clinton was central to preserving the legacy of what President Obama began, and the repudiation of that is something we're going to talk about quite a bit. But John, you know, as a reporter, you have spent so much time on the road watching this campaign from the early days on. You know, what is your take? How do you boil it down in terms of how he won?
Well, you look at the exit polls, and those numbers will tell you who voted and what issues they were voting on. But I think they missed the core element of all of this. And what I got from being across the country with Donald Trump, talking to so many people, at so many rallies in so many different regions and cities across the country, is there was kind of a collective sense of anxiety among so many people in America that they're worried about their future. They're worried about the direction their country is going in, and perhaps most importantly, they're worried that their children's lives are not going to be as good as theirs. And they looked at the status quo of the political establishment, and they didn't see anything out there. And then Donald Trump comes along and not only gives voice to those anxieties, but says, I'm going to do something about them. And his campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, said today they also like the fact that because he's a billionaire, he's not beholden to any of the special interests, so he may be the one who can actually enact change. Here's what she said.
The man ran and sacrificed to do this for the country. He didn't need the money and the fame and the power and the status, and it's very attractive to people because for him, he can literally satiate that appetite for an outsider who goes to Washington owing nobody anything.
I was talking to a colleague of mine from another network just a couple of minutes ago, and he likened it to sort of a Wall Street correction, that this is a political correction, that, you know, you had this political bubble, Martha, and it burst in the early hours of this morning. Martha?
And a bit of Wall Street correction along with it. John, thank you very much.
So now I want to bring in Byron York, chief political correspondent, Washington Examiner, Steve Hayes, senior writer, Weekly Standard. Both are Fox News contributors, and neither man has slept awake since last night. Good day, gentlemen. Mitt Romney, who called Donald Trump a fraud and a phony repeatedly, has just tweeted best wishes for our duly elected president. May his victory speech be his guide in preserving the republic, his aim. Wow. Mike Murphy, longtime strategist, said he's never been more wrong in his life. How did so many people miss it?
Well, I think I'm one of them. I mean, I didn't see this coming. You asked us yesterday what I thought. I thought that she would win with 300-ish electoral votes. Obviously, that didn't happen. Look, I think that's the right tone that you're hearing from somebody like Mitt Romney. Certainly, it's the way that I feel. I hope that I'm as wrong about what kind of a president Donald Trump will be as I was about his electoral prospects. Fundamentally, this was a change election, and I woke up in the middle of the night in my 2 hours of sleep last night, and was thinking about the past decade of American politics. And you think about how many change elections we've had. 2006 was a change election, 2008 was a change election, 2010 was a change election, 2014 was a change election. And this election basically is saying, we've been telling you all along we wanted change, and we were serious about that change. And that's the message to take from this election.
You know, we talked the other day about an article that was called The End of Elitism. And it mentioned in the beginning a billboard that was right between the border of Ohio and Pennsylvania. And I don't know who bought the space on this billboard, but it said, "You've had your chance, now it's our turn." I mean, you think about the message, the overwhelming message that was sent last night to so many layers of elitists in government, entrenched bureaucracy in this country, as these people voted and said, no more.
And that's what Trump said in speech after speech after speech. At all those big rallies John Roberts was talking about, he was saying, look, they don't care about you, they're getting rich, their kids go to great schools, their lives are great, and you're just falling behind every single day. And it wasn't just change, it was that, but it was there was actual specific issues. I'm going to bring our jobs back. This is it for Obamacare. We're going to build a wall, we're going to control immigration into this country, and we're not going to engage in the kind of foreign misadventures we saw in the Bush administration and that he accused Hillary Clinton of taking part in. So it was a big desire for change, and two, it was specific things that he was saying he would do if elected.
We are going to see some extraordinary things in the next couple of hours here. We're going to see Hillary Clinton, who had gone to the Jacob Javits Center, which is the convention center on the west side of Manhattan, and her intention was to stand beneath a literal glass ceiling and declare victory, and she never showed. And we're going to show you that image a bit later today. We're going to hear from her in about an hour and 15 minutes. Paul Ryan's going to speak in his hometown of Janesville, Wisconsin, and you know he was really not on the Trump train, and you wonder how that's going to go right now. One thing Trump and Barack Obama will speak this morning as well. We just don't have a time on that yet. Stand by on that. One thing Trump said last night, to be really historic, we have to do a great job. He has intention now going forward, and if you listen to Kellyanne Conway from earlier today, he wants to do a lot of things quickly.
Yeah, well,
Steve, where does he start? With the Republican Senate and a Republican House.
Yeah, I mean, we've learned over the past 20 years that new presidents have to do things quickly or they don't get things done. So he's right to focus on that. I mean, certainly if you know, picking up on what Byron said, you would think that the things that he would focus on would include immigration. I mean, it was one of the things that he talked most about. However, the exit polling suggests that the American people weren't necessarily with him on some of the specifics of his immigration plan. 70% of the American public said we don't want to deport the people who are here illegally. We prefer to provide them a path to legal status. 25% said that they wanted to deport him. But I would think immigration would be one of the things, because it was so central to the argument that he was making. Certainly Obamacare. I mean, I do think this was in some ways a referendum, not just on Obamacare, but on the excesses of Barack Obama's activist government. And I would think there would be great enthusiasm. That's one place where Republicans will agree. Republicans don't always agree on immigration, but they certainly agree on Obamacare.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to overestimate the impact on President Obama's legacy from this. You look at the Iran deal, which Donald Trump has spoken about quite a bit. You look at Obamacare, you look at all of the, and you could sense that in President Obama when he was on the campaign trail in North Carolina the other day. You know, you better vote for her because this will cement my legacy. What's going on in his mind this morning?
Look, I'm sure he's stunned like so many other members of the political establishment, because there's two things here. One, the president has done a lot of what he has done through executive action, and Donald Trump
can be easily undone.
Exactly, and Donald Trump has pledged to just wipe that clean on the first day. So, and President Donald Trump can do that. And then there's the stuff that requires Congress, and now Trump, of course, has a Republican House, a Republican Senate. Remember, the Republicans in the Senate are congratulating themselves for not confirming Merrick Garland, because Donald Trump has, this is one of the things he's been most specific on. He gave a list of judges who are all viewed as real A-list conservative judges. Most conservatives would be very happy with them for the Supreme Court. So remember when Obama went to the Congressional Black Caucus not that long ago, he said, I would take it as a personal insult if you don't go out there and vote for me and
Said
keep
the
this
thing
legacy alive.
just a few days ago. Byron, thanks to you. Stephen Hayes, thanks to you as well. More come up here. 13 past, Martha. Wow, a lot more to get to.
A lot more indeed. So as we've been telling you,